Where I am now, better than before, through those open doors. Where I am now, where I am now, I'm in a special place, a tender love embrace. Where I am now. It's now time for the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. The music that you hear in the background is none other than Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, where I am now. And if you'd like to see us live in WGPL 1350 studio, all you have to do is go to Edward Everett's Facebook page or Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton Facebook page. And guess what? You can see us live right here in WGPL 1350 studio. And if you want to hear us all over the globe, all you have to do is go to www. Christian Broadcasting Company or WPCE 1400 AM or 1350 AM. And guess what? You can hear us all over the world. And now I want to introduce to some and present to others the host of the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, and a pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. E. It's a beautiful Friday in the neighborhood.
Would you, could you, will you be my neighbor?
Let's welcome our neighbors, our WGPL 1350 AM listeners.
Peace, 95.3 FM and WPCE 1400.
Facebook Live on and popping. Let's also welcome Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Make sure you like, share, follow, subscribe, comment. We'll shout you out later on in the show.
Like, share, follow, comment, and shout out.
Do it all. And we'll shout you out later on in the show.
Yeah.
Mr. E, is Fun Friday.
That's right. That's right. You want to hear a funny joke today?
Not today, because
Okay.
we have a wonderful guest. But I tell you what, it's Fun Friday. The weather is pretty decent here in Hampton Roads area. Hope you're going to have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And yeah, we're here today to introduce a wonderful guest. First of all, this is our Friday segment. What's in your closet? Issues concerning women.
Yeah.
Our wonderful, beautiful special guest is Malara Green. She's a psychotherapist, confidence coach, social worker. You name it. That girl is on the move. That girl is on fire, actually,
That
Mr.
girl
E.
is on fire.
Yes, she is. And we want to say good morning, Malara.
Good morning, everybody.
I tell you what, you are doing it all. And I look at your profile, your pages, we follow you, and you are a young woman on fire, doing a lot of great things. Tell us a little bit about where you're from and just a snippet of your upbringing. And we're going to talk about some other things concerning you and your career.
Absolutely. So one, I want to say thank you guys for just the invitation to be on here. I am from the Hinton Road area. I was born, raised, and I stayed. I don't know if I'm going to stay here that much longer, but we'll see what God has to say. But I am from here. I have family as well in Philadelphia. I was raised by two amazing parents. And what I've learned is with parents being present at times in that moment, emotionally and mentally, they may not be able to be present because them themselves aren't able to have someone to be present for them. So what I've learned to do is embrace my upbringing, embrace the roles that my parents gave because they gave me everything that they had, but then also learning how to rely on God to fill those spaces. So that's kind of a little bit about my upbringing. Today is my brother's birthday, so Michael Childs Jr., happy birthday. He's a police officer for Suffolk. And we were literally inseparable growing up. And right now it's us being able to just live out our purpose in our lives despite our different challenges and traumas that we've had.
Wow, I kind of caught that you were going to try to leave us. Now, where you think you're going, Malara? What city, state are you going to try to get to?
I don't know. I think right now I'm not necessarily trying to leave, but I've realized that sometimes we can put ourselves in boxes.
Yes.
God is trying to do other things. So it's more of not necessarily being on the run, but more like, okay, God, I'm in a season of whatever you want for me to do, I'm available and I'm a willing vessel.
Absolutely. Let's talk about your education because, like I said, I look at your profile and you're a young woman that has accomplished so much. Tell us how I got started with you really getting into, making sure you're educated and continuing to climb.
Yes, ma'am. So my senior year of high school, I actually experienced a sexual trauma. And as a result, I went through a really deep depression.
Yeah.
And at that time, my mom was like, baby girl, you're so smart. You are amazing. And what I'm not going to allow for you to do is to not fulfill some form of a purpose. So my mother was the catalyst of choosing my field of study, which is social work. And what ended up happening was she picked it based off of who I really am. So once I got to school, I threw myself into my studies and I found me, but just in a career. So for myself, I realized that I was the problem, but there were things and situations in my environment that was the problem that I had to change. So I ended up getting my bachelor's from Norfolk State University. And then I went on to get my master's from University of Southern California in a clinical concentration in children and families because I ended up learning that a lot of the times it's not that we don't want to be successful, but if we're not taught who we are as a kid, then it's going to break down the family. But if I can change the family system, then I can change the community. So that's kind of why I pursued that. And then I ended up becoming a licensed clinical social worker. And the reason behind that is I had no idea where God was taking me. But I said, just in case it needs a license, I was going to have a license. And I could have not made a better decision. So now I serve as a psychotherapist for military family. My specialty is trauma. So I do a lot with individuals who have experienced sexual trauma, childhood traumas, and I also serve as a confidence coach because I realize a big piece of us not fulfilling our purpose is that we're not confident in our value. I love the scripture that says we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us, but I've added a little Malara to it and I say, but we can only go as far as we believe. So if we don't believe that he's going to do it for us, then how is he going to work all things out for our good if we don't even allow ourselves to be available? So I do that as well. And now I'm a PhD student at Regent taking organizational leadership because I do want to change the organization of mental health in the world because if you have a brain, you have a mental health.
Absolutely. First of all, thank God for mothers. Oh my goodness, to really, take us and make sure we fulfill our potential. Even when we go through crisis, they're there and they're saying, look, keep going. It will get better. Life will get better. Let's find out what a psychotherapist is, first of all.
So a psychotherapist is an individual that comes from various different backgrounds, but their specialty is being able to view a person's situation and problem and provide a real life solution. So recently I just started a coaching program at Virginia Bible College, which has been amazing. And the way that they broke it down, they said, a therapist is someone who's unhealthy that's coming to be healed. Wow. So as a psychotherapist, I'm going to look at what is making that person unhealthy, just like a doctor does, provide a diagnosis of how to really be able to assist and help them. And then for me, I'm a licensed clinical social worker. So again, I look at a person in their environment. You have different psychotherapists. So if someone's looking for therapy, is knowing who you want. So like if you have someone who's a licensed professional counselor, they're trained specifically to provide counseling in a specialized area. Licensed psychologists, they do more of the diagnostic thing. So if you have something like a severe mental illness like schizophrenia or ADHD or those areas, then they assess those things. So it's really having a safe place for you to begin to share what's impacting your thoughts about yourself, because your thoughts about yourself impact how you show up in this world. So that's what a psychotherapist does.
Wow.
Wow, I'm blown out of the water, because when you gave all the definitions of all those, that one thing, I could be that too, on a fun Friday. Yeah. But I want to say thank you so much for joining us right here on FYI Radio Show. Now, you say you also deal with trauma. Tell us a little bit and define trauma.
So my definition of trauma is anything that has occurred in your life that you can't find yourself unstuck from.
Wow.
Because a lot of the times we view trauma as specific situations, whether it is neglect or abuse, sexual trauma, anything of those natures, a big accident or something traumatic in the mind of the world. But a trauma could be something as small as if a kid went to school and did not like the lunch, and they came home and they were hungry, but mom had a significant other over there and fed them first. That could be a trauma, because that kid could say, but I'm hungry. So it's those moments in our lives that stick with us that make us make other decisions that might be more detrimental. So what I do is I provide what is called cognitive behavioral therapy that is trauma focused. So what we really do look at is, how does that past situation impact your present? And how can we teach you tools to handle your present? So when we begin to talk about your past, there's a specialty of being able to heal. So then in the future, if there is a trigger, it won't throw you backwards. So it's really just being able to show people how I'm not excusing the trauma that happened, but we don't have to stay there. We can keep moving forward.
Absolutely. Tell me how women, feel about therapy as in general speaking. Do they hesitate to get it, and is it recommended from other sources, from doctors? How do people end up with a psychotherapist?
I think that any person that has to look outside of themselves for support is hesitant.
Okay.
Because a lot of the times we are taught to be independent. We're taught that we can do things on our own, or we have a space where, especially when your source is God, it's like, okay, God, I got you and I don't need nothing else. But sometimes it's being able to utilize his disciples that he created with other gifts. So what I've noticed is those individuals that just don't feel like they have a safe place to share. Women don't like to feel judged. We like to feel heard. So if you've ever been in a situation where you shared your experiences and it was combated by someone not taking it serious, or you hear just different aspects that come up, then that could easily tell a person, no, don't get help. A way that somebody can be recommended to do therapy is, one, social media is great. So people get to see people like myself that's doing this work, that's talking about it. Even this platform helps people to understand what a psychotherapist is. Another space is doctors can refer you to a therapist. And then there's different avenues that you can use as well. Like, some people may not want anybody to know that they're even going to therapy.
Yes.
So you have things like BetterHelp that I actually serve as a therapist on as well. You have just different platforms. For my school age young adults that's in college, most colleges have a free counseling center. So I think it is being able to know what resources that you have, because some people don't even know that there is help out there, because up until COVID, mental health really wasn't a conversation unless you was in the mental health realm. So now when you have celebrities like Taraji or Dr. Knowles, who just was on a men's mental health panel, when you have people of influence talking about it, is now making people more comfortable with saying, I too need help. And the last piece that I will say is, people that are therapists, it's so important for us to not appear to not have any issues. So what I pride myself on is transparency. And I tell people that I'm a therapist that have a therapist. I tell people that up until the last 2 weeks, I was on suicide watch with my therapist. Why? Because I'm a human being. I have issues, I have challenges. Just because I have the expertise and I know the tools don't mean that life does not happen to me. So if we can start speaking what we're experiencing and why we became, therapists in the first place, I think that will create a safe place for women to say, hey, I can share too, because she don't have it all together, so I don't have to have it all together when I'm sitting before her either.
Wow. As I begin to hear your dialogue about this therapeutic therapist, and I just want to know one question. What percentage of clients do you see? More men than women or more women than men?
It is a mixture depending on the season, honestly.
The season?
Wow.
Yes, the season. Because I do therapy in different platforms, so I function on BetterHelp, so I don't get to actually pick anybody. They match you with people, so it depends on who's available at that time. And then the other space is military, so it really just depends on who is in limited duty at that time, who is retiring and transitioning out, who needs support. What I will say is I do work a lot with women because I am a female. I have dealt with women issues, but I have seen men in the midst of a transition. They do come and get help and support. So it really just depends on the season and the need of people in that moment is what my caseload can be. Because at one point I had more males than I did women. Now I have more women than I did males. So it really just depends on how I am connected with those clients.
When I begin to hear you talk about the seasons, I thought that, when the winter, spring, summer, fall, or Christmas come around and you get a lot of clientele, a lot of people that going through because they begin to sing that song, it'd be a sad, sad Christmas. That's just, how folks feel that they get ready to become alone during the Christmas holiday. Is that, do you get a lot of people come to you on that, in that area?
So what I would say the sad part is it really just depends on that person's knowledge that help is out there. So a lot of the time what I've noticed is people will actually go through those seasons alone. Most people don't really come to therapy until that's the last result because they feel like I can do it, I can go through it. This is temporary. I don't have to worry about it. But it's that last result moment where it's like, hey, I need something outside of myself. Does it increase at different points? It does, but it's not like a humongous increase. Because a lot of the times people just deal with those things alone. So it goes back to education and people even knowing that therapy is an option and you can have both Jesus and a therapist at the same time to really help you get through those moments and also being kind to yourself and realizing anytime you go through a transition, you're going through a period of grief. Grief is not a place of someone dying. Grief can be the death of an actual job or the death of a relationship, a death of what's going on, or you may not have enough, or if my basic needs aren't met, I could be grieving the fact that I can't provide my basic needs. So it's people understanding that mental health just doesn't have one look. It doesn't just look crazy. It looks like moments where I don't want to get out of bed or a moment where I don't talk to anyone. Like if we can acknowledge it, I think we probably would see an even more increase during those moments.
Absolutely. You are also a confidence life coach. Let's talk about the difference between a psychotherapist and a life coach.
Yes, ma'am. So a life coach is someone who has people who are healthy, but they feel like they're stuck. And like, I know that I am okay, but I am stuck and I need someone to get me out of this stuck place. Therapy is more someone who is in an unhealthy mindset that's impacting and bleeding all other areas of their life. And they're saying if I don't make a change, I don't see my life getting any better. Okay. So that's the difference. And me being a confidence coach is for people to know that they are enough. That people to know that they don't have to beat themselves up for what they did in their past because Jesus already shed his blood for that. Like I really teach people that you are enough just the way you are. If you don't get one more certification, if you don't have one more child, if you don't get in another relationship, whatever you're at right now, you are enough and God loves you enough that every time you take a breath in and out, that's his contact to show you his unconditional love and that there's instill some purpose and power in you. So that's what I do as a coach, is for people to see, to get to the real level of life. Yes, you met your goals, but you feel unfulfilled because you don't see that you are enough to have what you have. So that's kind of what I do with the coaching.
Let's find out about people and life coach. Let's talk about the confidentiality again. How do you get people to trust? You know, how can you get people to know that you're not going to tell their secrets?
So the biggest part is we have a confidential statement that we say, especially in the therapy space. For life coaching, it is a little flexible at times, but of course you're not going to tell anybody information. But for therapy specifically, there's just you and the person that is involved in that case, in that space. And what we do is we tell them that most of what we say in this space is confidential. And I explain to people most because I am a mandated reporter. So that means that I feel like you're at risk of harming yourself or someone else, I do have to report that or give you the proper resources. If I feel as if you're just reporting active child abuse and neglect, I have to report that. If it's an active elder abuse or someone who is not competent enough to make their own decisions, I have to report that. Anything outside of that is between me and you. And what I do is I hold myself accountable by not telling or sharing or utilizing their information. We have to follow HIPAA laws as well. So even if we're getting consultation, we cannot share that person's name or any demographics that can pinpoint them. So if people can know that the spaces are safe and our license is held accountable for any moments where we're not holding it safe, then that's how they know that it's a safe place. And again, coaching, again, is still the same thing. I tell them, like whatever is said in this room stays in this room. That's like my favorite phrase with them because I want people to understand I'm not here to judge you. I have my own path. So anything you share with me, I'm not going to go and spill the tea or, you know, try to prove anything wrong. Like what I'm really going to do is listen to you, give you a safe place. And it's not about me. So I don't need to go tell your business. This is just a safe place for you to share.
How do you empty out after obtaining so much information about people and their problems? How do you empty yourself out so it wouldn't bombard you or you be attacked by it? Are you there? Are you there, Malara?
Okay, something just went. Hopefully she can call back. We're talking to Miss Malara Green. She's a psychotherapist, confidence coach, and social worker. There she is again. Good morning again. Mr. E has a question for you.
How do you empty yourself out after obtaining all this personal data from someone else or carrying somebody else's burdens and problems so it will not attack you or you will not be affected by it? What do you do to empty yourself out?
So one thing I've learned is the art of the reset button. I believe that every second of our day, we have the opportunity to press reset. And because their problems is not necessarily my problem, I've just learned to, when this session is over, I just detach from this session and I can go to the next one.
Wow.
The beauty of our field is we do have like consultation or supervision. So if there is a case that indeed I am concerned about or I feel stuck, we do have that obligation in our field to seek consultation from someone that is outside of ourselves. And again, that's where the HIPAA comes in at, where I'm not necessarily sharing demographics, but hey, this is something that was presented to me. Can you help me? Yes. Another piece of it is I really rely on God. Like I realize that I'm not doing what I'm doing because I want to do it. I'm doing it because I'm called to do it. And when I've understood that, then I will do my best to take care of my own self. So I go to therapy to make sure mentally I'm in a good place, because if mentally I'm not in a good place, I'm going to take on everything that they're pouring into me. When I have a space where I can empty out, so when they are pouring their stuff in, it's not filling my cup with their negativity. I have something that I can actually pour out to them because I had a space for someone poured into me. Yes. So it's just being able to practice that, me going to pour myself out first, my own thing, so then when I walk away, I don't have to walk away with their baggage. I can just help them with their baggage, but they leave it with themselves. When they leave out the space, I don't have their stuff with me anymore.
Yes. Tell me what you learned about yourself as well as others during this pandemic.
I have learned that we do not do well alone, even though we live in a world that pushes. I can do this by myself.
Yeah.
I miss being around people. Even now as a full-time entrepreneur, I search for lunch meetings and things like that because I don't like being by myself. Even with me talking to people all day, it's something about being on the computer. But I also learned from people is a lot of people have not dealt with their trauma. So when
Yes.
COVID hit, and now I have to sit down and I have to deal with my trauma, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to start. That's why you've had so many mental health programming open up, like a Better Health platform that you can go on from your phone and say, hey, I need to connect with a therapist. But I just think that people realize that they were human because when you become a human doer and not a human being, what ends up happening is you feel like the only way you're valuable is if I keep doing. COVID told us we couldn't do anything. So now I have to sit down with my own personal values, how much I think I offer, and then also basic needs. One thing about me, I am not going to provide you a service until your basic needs are met.
Wow.
So if food, water, shelter is not done, I am going to focus on those areas first. Then we can jump into all the other
That's
things.
good.
Excellent.
Because if those are not done, I can't give you anything. I can't shift your mindset and perspective if you're hungry. I can't shift your mindset and perspective if you're not making enough money. I can't shift your mindset and perspective if you don't have anybody in your corner. So I'm going to see what basic needs do you need, what support group do you need as well, so then you can get through it. So that's what I've learned is that people realize that they are human and we have to sit with how we feel about life and deal with it.
Absolutely. Can you tell our listeners when is the best time to get help? And also, how long do people usually stay in therapy?
So the best time to get help is every single day. It's not about help. If we can get to a place of prevention, because I pride myself on providing preventative services to lower the rate of people who need mental health services. Like I'm really trying to work myself out of the job. And we
Yes.
can begin to talk about the role of our mental health and how it's not always bad. If you have a brain, you have a mental health. If you think, your thought is your mental health. So we can begin to have conversations surrounding that and people actually just having that safe place. I'll tell people, even if you don't go to a therapist every single week, having someone every month that you can throw all your trash in that's not going to judge you, that's going to just listen and provide you with feedback, that's better than waiting until you have a meltdown. I call it the elephant in the room syndrome. We live in a world where we don't want to deal with our emotions. But the more we don't deal with our emotions, the more we see that elephant until it pushes us out of our room.
Absolutely.
So before we get to that point, actually have a safe place to share and then be with those individuals.
Yes.
Now, I forgot the second part of your question. I apologize.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to go to some contact information because we're getting ready to go off of this segment. But please give us information, website, social media information, or a number where people can get in touch with you to get to learn more about what you do.
Yes, ma'am. So you guys can find me at www.malaratransform.com, and it's spelled Mylira. Again, that's MalaraTransform.com. On Instagram, it's Malara Transform. On Facebook, it's just me. I'm the only Malara Green that exists. You can find me there. Also, a great number to utilize, and it is me. Text or call at 757-609-0694. If you are in a place and need coffee, you say, hey, I need help, but you don't know where to start, I am here to help you start. So that's where people can find me at.
Thank you so much for being on FYI. You have to come back, and you are definitely a blessing to us in the community. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, you all come over here. We're going to serve some tea, give you some information on upcoming shows and all of that. Be blessed. See you back here on Monday.
For the past 30 minutes, you've been listening to FYI Radio Show with our host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. Our special guest has been none other than Miss Malara Green. And for more information about FYI, you can give us a call at area code 757-714-7861 or inbox us at FYI Radio Show or Edward Everett or Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. Don't forget to tune in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9:30 to 10 right here in WGPL 1350 studio on Peace 95.3 and on 1400 AM. And have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Yes. Wow. I want to say good morning to those that are viewing us. And Miles, God bless you. Mardell Lewis, LaWanda Tilly. Good morning, young lady. She says she is very proud of Malara Green. We have Katrina Brown. We have Roberta. Where's Roberta Carter? And you all that are on, make sure you shout us out real quick. Put your name down there so we can shout you out. You know, Ann Miles says this. She says, December is my shutdown, hurtful time. My niece's birthday and death, cousin and dad's birthday, and they are no longer here. She says, I can't get past it. And just like Mr. E was talking about the holidays, you know, a lot of times that's a time of grieving because that's some memorable things that take place when we're with our aunties and our cousins and grandmas and, you know, our mother and father, you know, and them being a presence in our lives, a strong presence in our life. You know when they're missing, Mr.
Right,
you know when
right.
they're no longer there. And it is an emptiness. And there are times when you feel as though, you know, you can't see the future because they're not there, you know. And a lot of times we have to regroup and we have to go through that time of sadness. We have to grieve, you know, because some people don't grieve just in a day or a minute. Sometimes it's an ongoing thing. And so grieving them is just saying, you know, I miss the heck out of y'all.
Yeah.
I wish you were here. I wish I could have that talk with you. I wish I had that shoulder to lean on. You know, and that's what it's saying. It's saying, I miss you so bad, it hurts.
That's right.
And so let it hurt. But
That's
I tell you what, also realize that you have a future. And all you have to do is turn to the ones that are still there. Turn to the ones that are your future, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and look at them. And you can see that it's still worth, life is still worth living. Because there is, you know, people that still need you and you need.
You know, Miss Hinton, when we talk about that, they are the matriarchs of the family.
Mm-hmm.
They are the backbone of the family, and they instill so much in us.
Yes.
That's the only person that we had to look up to, that we could look up to and tell our deepest, darkest secrets to. But when the matriarchs are no longer there, then you have, and I believe this, that we have to take over and start being the matriarchs to the next generation. But I think that what we ought to do, even though we might miss them, like Ann missed her family, like I miss my mother and my father, and when you start missing them, you know, then you can look back over who you are and see how far you have came. Then you can see you in them, and that should really help you to change. You know,
yes.
So I had to look at myself because I thought sometime before, when I was turning a certain age, I was freaking out. I was out. I didn't know how to deal with it until I began to realize that they're in me, and I had to look at myself and see them.
A lot of times you have to realize that you have to grow up. And I'm saying grow up in the sense that you're next. You are the one now that is the matriarch, or the patriarch. You lead your family. You came from a family, but now you are leading, you're heading, you're mentoring, you're confidant to those that are under you. And it calls for you to say, uh-oh, I'm a full-grown man, a full-grown woman, and I have a task to do.
That's right.
You cannot stop at just the past. You have to realize that you have something to instill in those that are under your care. You cannot let them down. You have to instill in them morals and God and work ethics. You have a job to do. That's the bottom line. You don't have time to sit back and think about yourself. And I'm talking about all of us because, it is a funny feeling when you think about those that are not here any longer that you loved so dearly. But then, like I said, when you begin to look at the fact you have a future, you have to look at the responsibility that God has given you now as a matriarch or a patriarch. And you don't have time to sit back and let your children and their nieces and nephews go by the wayside and society pull them in to destroy. You got a job to keep them up, keep them motivated, keep them going, and give them tools that you've been given from these wonderful people from the past. Give them the tools to keep on going and living life.
That's right. And that's grand. That's grand. And I want you to be able to think about what happens during your upbringing. Some of them had bad upbringing. Some of us had good upbringing. Some of us had someone that we can lean on. And even though you feel as if, you can't deal with it, I got strong memories. Turn those memories around. Start doing something that you think that they would have done, and continue to go to push forward. Sing the song, "Onward Christian Soldier, I gotta go on."
And even if you're not a Christian, still
sing the song.
Still say that you got to go on because you got to go on.
That's right. Don't sit around there during the holiday. You know that song they sing in the back in the days of "It's been a sad,
Lord, that sounds like my uncle.
Christmas."
My cousin is up here, and she made the statement. But and remember Uncle Ernest, every time he would hear a certain phrase or a certain song, he would go to crying. He one time my sister said, this movie star went by the way of Sandusky. And when he heard that, he boo-hoo, because his mother used to say that someone has gone by the way of Sandusky. And so it's really hard during certain times to think about our loved ones, but they have given us some great tools. These tools are meant to give to those that are coming up.
Yeah.
Under us. I want to say thank you again to our special guest, Malara Green. Young lady, you are on the move. Yeah. I also love her vulnerability. She is like, okay, I'm helping you, but honey, I'm going to make sure I help myself too. It's just like when you're in the plane. They say, give yourself the oxygen first. If anything happened in the plane, then you can help somebody else. And that's exactly what she is doing. She is seeing to it that she has good mental stability and mental health. And see, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being mentally whole. We take care of our physical body. We take care of all that other stuff. Our spiritual selves, we're in church and we're Christians or not Christian, whatever your religion is. But, sometimes people hide in the closet.
That's right. That's
when
right.
It comes to mental health, because they don't want nobody to know you're suffering in the mind. You don't want nobody to know you feel a little crazy and sound a little crazy sometimes. You don't want nobody to know that you're slipping. And the thing about it is you're going to have to let somebody know that you are not whole.
That's right. And that's what it takes. You know who you are. That's one of the questions that we asked Miss Malara about. How do she deal with it? What does she do? And she's got one of the perfect ways in the world, and taught me something today, that when I leave work or when I leave this, I leave this.
Absolutely.
Do not empty that mess out. Don't take it home. She said, and she likes that button called reset, and she liked to reset herself. And I think I'm going to take that to heart, that when I'm finished with this, I'm through with this. I'm going on.
I just want to say, my cousin says, thank you for your show today. That's why I love you. Love y'all. Ann is strong. Ann has gone through so much in her life, but she's strong, and she's continuing to be the matriarch to her sons and her children. And though things may sometimes get hectic, sometimes she's still a beautiful, helpful person. She's a beautiful cousin, and she always wants to be uplifting to other people. And we just want to uplift her today by saying thank you. We love you. We thank you for your support. Just keep on climbing, keep on believing in yourself, and keep on teaching your children to do better. Teach them to do better by their children. And let's just keep on learning about how we can get better in life. You're going to make it, and we're going to make sure you make it. We're going to see to it, and we call her BB. We're going to see to it that you make it. We love you.
Hey, BB, don't forget you got a job to do on our behalf. You got to tell us what did that mean about the purse.
The abscess on the pocket. She's going to tell us one day. She's going to tell us. But look, we're going to be serving some tea right now. I think we're going to do it right now. Again, thank you, Miss Malara Green. Yeah. She's a psychotherapist. She's a confidence coach, social worker. And I'm hoping, you all just look her up, Malara Green. It's Mylara Green. She's on social media. You can inbox her and get information that you need from her. And she will definitely bless you. So, Mr. E, we're going to change the segment. Let me hear your beady. And we're going to pick up these calls. Now, don't worry about it. We're going to give you all what's going on with our upcoming show.
Get your cup.
Well, we got to get this out because it is so much. And, by the time we get back here on Friday, it seems like the news cycle has just gone just crazy, And by the time Friday gets here, sometimes this stuff is old. But I tell you what, we're trying to keep up with all this stuff that's going on in the world. I want to first start with the church folk. We always talk about the church folk. The church folk, I'm telling you, church folk, y'all stay
in the news.
Stay in what's going on, especially the social media world. And let's talk about it. Beyonce, beautiful Beyonce, talented Beyonce, wealthy Beyonce. Why is it that she's being attacked by church folk?
Why?
Well, she has a song out called Church Girl, and church folk, some of the church folks, especially some of these leaders, Mr. E, are not pleased. One of the head leaders from the Church of God in Christ is having a fit, saying it is something wrong with the girl and saying that the girl's music is of the devil. Of the devil.
What did she say? What did she say in her lyrics? You all
go ahead in the lyrics and find out what Beyonce said that is getting everybody out of character. They calling her less than a child of God, and that is sacrilegious and everything. But the thing about it, in my opinion, Miss Beyonce is an entertainer.
That's right.
She's been singing and doing this all her life. This is how she makes her money. This is art to her. If you talk with her or listen to her interviews, it's art. It's an expression of how she feels, what she thinks. And she feels like life imitates art. And I mean, you can see that, the experiences that she speaks about in her songs are things it's a reflection of what she has beheld or heard. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with everything when singers do stuff, but I'm just saying we're having a problem with a lot of folk having a problem with Beyonce.
Is it because of the title Church Girl?
It's what she says.
But when you look at the words, the words are part of the words in the lyric. It says, oh, I want to be center. Oh, I want to be center. I want to be center in thy will. I want to be up. I've been up. I've been down. Feel like I moved the mountain. So, that's...
but that ain't the part that they're mad at. They part would talk about, between the sheets or something. Some whoredom or something going on. Speaking of between the sheets, Juanita Bynum is sitting back talking about Beyonce and her song Church Girl. Said y'all don't have no business listening to that type of music.
Okay, because she said church girls get loose.
Yes.
Bad girls act snooty. You bad. Let it go. Let it go, girl. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Twerk.
Well, Mr. E is getting the lyrics.
I had to stop at one of the words.
That's what I'm saying. She's, uses a few choice words. But Juanita Bynum is having a fit over daggone Beyonce singing Church Girl. Now, listen, and listen to this, and y'all know this is true. When came on the scene, Juanita Bynum, she said she was under the sheets with the whole choir. So Beyonce is not far from telling the truth about what's going on sometime in the church. But Juanita criticized Beyonce, Mr. E, and said Beyonce music, y'all church folk don't have no business listening to. This is what Juanita said. You don't have no business. Listen to the Beyonce song in the woman in the church girl. But then guess what they did? They just turned on poor Juanita, Dr. Juanita Bynum, and showed her twerking. Twerking.
Roberta,
in the daggone video, Mr. E, to a secular song.
Juanita said that she's been delivered.
She
said that was 3 years ago. And since that was 3 years ago, she's asked God to forgive her. She repented and she asked.
She's talking about Beyonce.
Because, I believe that some of Juanita Bynum made an error.
Okay.
She just made a mistake.
She said so.
She said, this is the whole thing about being like Juanita Bynum, being in the business, like Juanita. Juanita sees this and made the error. And then when she made the error, she began to criticize, but she failed to realize there was some skeleton steel in her closet. And since there was some skeleton steel in her closet, they came out when she started hearing Juanita saying, church girl, and the beat got into Juanita, and Juanita started twerking.
This is what Juanita said. Now you all go ahead and Google what Juanita said when she repented for what she said, because the folk pulled up her skeletons and showed her twerking and carrying on. So this is what Juanita said. She said during the pandemic, she just had her mind just went off a little bit. And she didn't, she just got into doing a lot of little things, honey. Well, and she said a whole lot of folk got into a whole lot of wrong during the daggone pandemic. But she said she took a whole year to repent and get back on track. Hallelujah.
Miss Roberta Carter got a great thought, and I thought about the same thing. Miss Roberta Carter said, I thought she was a pastor before the pandemic 3 years ago, and then all of a sudden, during the pandemic, she's sitting around the house. Why she couldn't have her mind set on the Lord? And then all of a sudden,
everybody was like, what did Miss Green said? During the pandemic, a whole lot of stuff came out. If you was doing a whole lot of stuff, the pandemic made you sit back and look at all the stuff that you were carrying on with and all the wrong and it made you look at yourself. That's why I asked the question, how did you see yourself during the pandemic? How do you all see yourself? Did you pass the test, or did you go off? Did you do wrong? What did you do during the pandemic? And so, Juanita said, yes, she had a moment.
That's right. She had a moment. She had a setback.
Goodness.
The old folks said she backslid.
But I tell you what, I thank the Lord that she repented by talking about Beyonce. Beyonce gonna keep doing Beyonce, making money, doing what she do, staying beautiful, rich, being a mother, and you can't do nothing about it. She's grown.
Keep right on Beyonce, right. Doing what you're doing, because the more they talk about it, they elevate you.
Now, before we leave the church, we got to talk about this pastor that's sitting up there talking about the daggone church, his church members, calling them po. He said, you po folks better give me that watch, that DH. You po saints better give me that watch. Why y'all not giving me that watch? This is the thing about it, everybody. There's eyes everywhere. The scripture says that. Now tell me why pastors are not understanding that the eyes everywhere, and the people, for clicks and views, they gonna put your stuff on the internet and gonna show your dirt. Now, you don't have no business down in the saints. And the saints is the one, they're coming in, and Mr. E's a pastor. Mr. E, what you think about the man sitting up there telling the people they raggedy and they no count, and won't give him that watch? What's wrong? What is that?
I have a problem with folks that, I'm gonna tell you this: the greatest answer in the world. God gonna get them. God
Oh,
gonna get them.
I tell you what, God don't have to get them.
God
I
gonna
tell
get
you
'em.
what,
The people
social media
gonna
gonna get
That's
you,
right.
and they're gonna bring you down. They're gonna counsel you. You're gonna end up in the soup line
That's
if
right.
you don't leave the saints
Leave
alone.
the saints alone, and because you want what they got, well, that they ain't taking care. Who are you?
Mhm.
That you think that them folks supposed to take care of you.
Absolutely. Let's go through some of this quick because some of these are just announcements. Nick Cannon,
Crazy.
honey, they said he's on baby number 10. He's already had his third baby with baby mama Brittany Bell. Baby mama Brittany Bell, this is the third one, and she's okay with all these other baby mamas. But I tell you what, Nick, if that's what you like, we love it.
That's
and
right.
But I tell you what, don't get po.
That's right. And
Because
see,
let me tell you why, Mr. E. This is issues concerning women. What's in the closet?
that's
Let me
right.
let me
That's
tell
right.
you right now. Get po and see if every single one of them baby mamas don't take you to court.
They gonna get you.
So don't get cute.
They gonna get you. Them baby. Listen, the court's gonna be full. You get them 10 babies out there by different women, and don't let them get to the point and check cross the fence and see that your baby got a poodle dog and they got old mutt.
Well, look, they don't have a problem with it. They don't have a problem with baby mama and the baby children. But I'm gonna tell you what they're gonna have problem. You get po, and see if every single one of them baby mamas don't have you in. Won't have you in court, honey.
They gonna do it, and if he ain't treating them their children right, you can rest assured that they gonna get there.
Absolutely. We also have where in Mike Tyson is they're doing a new movie on it. I want to see that.
Now wait a minute, not
yes,
Mike Tyson.
The famous
just
world champion Mike Tyson. They have a movie coming out on him.
Okay, is he starring in it?
No, he's not.
Okay,
it's about his life.
Just the other day, Mike Tyson said that he was getting ready to lay down and cross his arm.
Somebody said they hope they see that fighting on the plane. Well, anyway, look, Vanessa Bryant, Kobe Bryant's, the late Kobe Bryant.
That's right.
Was awarded $16 million. Too little, Mr. E, or too much? What you think?
I think is.
Do you think it's too little or too much?
I think it's too much.
I don't think it's too much. How dare you show her child and her husband like it's some kind of sideshow? That's hurting.
Well, Miss Hinton, it's like this. I believe I figured this out. Folks will get to the point if they can get news, they're gonna get news. They're gonna tell it. They're gonna tell it anywhere. And I'm trying to figure out how they get so close to see the news to tell it.
But Miss Lee, listen to this, T, which I think is absolutely fabulous. It says that TMZ has learned that Vanessa Bryant will donate the $16 million she was awarded on Wednesday to the Mamba and Mambacita Sports Foundation.
That's her son, her husband,
what
and
I'm
her
trying
daughter.
to say is this. She don't need that money, but I tell you what's the principle of the thing. Miss Bryant is saying, how dare you expose my family the public like it was some kind of circus sideshow. And she won, and she's saying, I tell you what, I'm going to drop the mic. Here's the donation to another cause. I tell you what, congratulations.
Well, what about this woman, Miss Hinton, that was arrested for allegedly drugging and stealing $50,000 in goods from a man she met at a bar?
What did she give him? One of those nightcaps? What's the name of those things that you put?
Mickey.
Did she slip a Mickey? Mr. E, what happened?
Look at the bottom of it.
It says a North Carolina woman accused of drugging and robbing a Fort Lauderdale man out of more than $50,000 in jewelry and other personal belongings have been arrested in Miami. What did she do? I didn't read the story. Mr. E, did she slip something in his drink? Did she put a hocus pocus on him?
A 23-year-old woman by the name of Clara was arrested Monday in Hinton, Nevada, after she was pulled over for driving with suspended license. She was charged with one count of grand theft. The victim, Bobby Scale, told NBC that Rickett is at a local bar in Los Angeles on Los Ola Boulevard was talking until 1:30 before departing to her apartment. And as she go out there, it didn't say what she gave him. Didn't say if she gave him a Mickey or anything.
Well, they were holding hands. It says the police showed the surveillance. They're holding hands while entering Scally's building, and then show the lady leaving alone 2 hours later with a big old probably Gucci bag full of all kind of treats and
well, she had an iPhone 12 or a Pro, iPhone 12 Pro, $1,000 in cash. She had his wallet, his Rolex watches, his Bentley watch, and she just took it all.
But listen to this. It says Scally told NBC Miami he couldn't recall any details from the night, including going back to his apartment, and said he remembers not being able to feel his legs. The toxicology report showed the boy had multiple drugs in his body, including tranquilizers, a date rape drug called gamma hydroxy something acid. Honey,
that's what she gave
you
him.
have been messed up and played by this woman, and it's a shame. But I tell you, you all be careful who you picking up.
That's right.
Be careful what you're drinking in these clubs, because you got these predators and folk is ready to do a number, male or female, it don't matter. But I tell you what, we thank you for joining us, Mr. E. You got some upcoming shows.
I want to say thank you so much for joining us. We got Mr. Donnell Williamson will be on our special guest on Sports Talk. Mel Kenny Alexander will be with us. Roland Fuller, inside man for Dallas Cowboys. He's the inside T, inside T for the Dallas Cowboys. Cheryl Johnson will be with us. Deborah Harris, Sherry Johnson,
Miss Teresa Colongo.
Teresa Colongo will be with us, along with Miss Deborah Harrison will be with us also.
Deborah Harris here. We have to get her date and confirm, but we got a lot of great shows. Look, thank you all so much. You know, we hit our numbers, our anti-bullying petition, but you can still, please, we still need more numbers. You can still go on my page, or you can go to change.org, or you can go to Edward Everett's page, and you can fill in information. You don't have to pay anything. It's free. Just stand with us. Our anti-bullying campaign, our community against bullying, a call to action now. We need your help. And also, we want you to save the date, October the 15th, 11 a.m. in Chesapeake, Virginia. We're going to have our anti-bullying rally. We want you there. We want your children there. We're going to have activities, information, pizza in a dialogue, face-off, you name it. We're going to have the books are going to be available, and just a lot of things for our youngins and our families, you know, to really help them, especially through this time of the year. We have coming with school opening, and we're back full force. You know, bullying is going to take place, and we need to give tools to bullies. We need to give tools to kids on how to stay safe. Don't forget the ladies' music, the ladies' pie. And don't forget, you can be a guest, a sponsor, an intern with FYI. Mr. E got the T.
If you'd like to be a special guest or sponsor, give us a call at area code 757-714-7861, or inbox us at FYI Radio Show. Miss Yolanda, Lady Hinton's Facebook page, or Edward Everett's Facebook page, or email us at FYI Live Radio Show at FYI Radio Show Live at gmail.com. FYI Radio Show Live at gmail.com.
Also, Monday, don't forget to join us Monday evening, Mr. E, for our anti-bullying chat.
That's right.
And roll call. We'll be on at 6 p.m. on all social media platforms.
That's right. I want to say good morning to Miss Sheila Robinson. Good morning to Miss Diane Carter. Good morning to you. And thank God that you are feeling better.
Yes.
You know, we are so happy that you're doing wonderful and well.
Yes, I'm going to call you on Tuesday, Miss Diane. And you all just stay blessed. Have a wonderful weekend. Do something nice. The weather's going to be pretty good. And don't forget, if you have any information that we need, or if you want to know more about what we're doing, you all can just come and DM us, and we'll be here for you. Be blessed. We got to go. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
2 up, 2 down.
VA.
Yeah. 2 up, 2 down, VA. Thank you so very, very much.